It's tossed long towards Balotelli, who can turn and fire and give Brescia the lead. The man who scored the first goal of the previous decade scores the first goal of the 2020s.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adreano and Nick, Gianni Dellacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jahzzar. Welcome back to the Calcio Guys with Gianni Dellacoli.
Hello.
Adreano and Nick.
What's going on?
I'm Nicholas Di Giovanni. We got a little substitution made this week. Instead of being at CJLO, we're in my room in the basement of this DDO home in Montreal, and we're just going to have a different format coming at you for 2020.
Beautiful studio.
Yes. Live in Nicholas's room.
We might not be doing it every week in my room.
It just so happened to work out.
Yeah, try different formats or whatever. I got my beautiful signed to Juve jersey in the corner, so I know you guys will like that. I have a couple of Italian flags around here, so that's fine. We just want to...
There's too many Juventus and Hab stuff in this room.
Yeah.
I feel like as if I don't want to touch the walls or else I'm going to burn.
Same here.
We just want to thank everyone at CJLO, especially Allison, the program director, for their support, for allowing us to do our show this long. It was just over a year, and we're gonna move this to a podcast thanks to Spreaker. So, Adri, where are we available?
So we're available on all kinds of platforms, as you guys know. We
bro.
got Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, as Nicholas said, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, whatever other platform you guys use to listen to your podcast.
Stitcher, and Mixcloud.
And Mixcloud as well, yeah. We're all kind of all over the place, so...
And follow us.
Follow us, definitely, as you know, at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We post all kinds of Calcio content, and you guys know the deal, so...
So, I wanted to start off.
Yes.
So, we have a couple of questions coming in our social media. We'll get to those later.
Yeah, we're so popular.
Thank you very much for sending in those questions, guys. I was actually pretty surprised by the amount that we got.
Yeah, Adriano and I just came back from a trip in Italy, and we're going to talk about that. So, we every podcast needs to have an identity, and our identity is going to be, talking about the Calcio community, bringing the smaller stories forward. So if you want to share a story about why you're passionate about Calcio, let us know. We'll get you on the podcast. We want to get interviews every week, as we did with the radio show. This week, just because we're working on new things, we're going to talk about our trip to Italy instead. But I want to start off with you guys. New year, new decade.
Yes.
What's your New Year's resolution for your teams?
First off, before we go, Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
Hope,
Buon anno.
Buon anno a tutti. It's going to be a good year 2020. This guy's the teacher over here.
There's an O at the end of anno.
Yeah.
But
not in dialect, but yeah.
No,
but for real, jokes aside, Happy New Year to everybody, all our listeners.
Definitely.
Definitely appreciate all your support.
Yeah. So, Gianni, Napoli and Roma, New Year's resolutions.
All right, so for Roma, it's to continue on this consistency and hopefully, I think January transfer window, nothing's probably going to happen for them, but maybe this summer look to bolster their defense. I think they need to add more to the defensive core. And for Napoli is to get out of this downward spiral somehow. I think it's just some kind of toxicity right now, and I think damage was caused by De Laurentiis. And I don't think it's repairable, to be honest. But I'll get more to that later. So for me, it's more of like try to find a way to get out of this downward spiral, catch your feet, and either continue from where you left. Actually, I don't think they can even continue from where they left off. Just find a new foot to start off from and work your way back up.
So for Milan, I mean, it's kind of similar to Gianni's. Milan's obviously in a downward spiral at the moment, and have been for the past 8-9 years now. So it's tough. It's tough to see this team go down. And for me, New Year's resolution: hey, can we win a game? It would definitely be great. We haven't won three straight. Oh no, sorry,
haven't
we
scored in three straight
matches. Excuse me. Yeah, so definitely goals to come in the future. Some offense, because I think our defense and mid are relatively sound. Our goalkeeping position, I think, is top class also. So to get some cohesiveness among this group, can't continue changing owners and management and coaches every year. It just, rinse, repeat with this team. So if we can get on some sort of stability from top to bottom, I think this team can get back to greatness. And for me, that's my biggest wish, my biggest hope for Milan coming in 2020 and in the future.
And obviously for Juve, it's pretty simple. It's the same resolution every year, and they usually break it by April, win the Champions League. It's simple as that. Obviously this year, more exciting. There's an actual Serie A title race, and I think everyone in Serie A is happy about that. You look at the Prem this year. I think Liverpool's about 13 points up. We're January, so I'm just happy to see that Juve actually has. It's not the first time they've had a challenger, but to have it this close, tied on points in January. I know in 2015-16, Napoli was up until February, and then obviously 2 years ago it was deadlock until the deadlock. It was close until the finish.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been a race of this kind. And remember, guys, I called it in August actually. Inter's going to be Juve's challenger. You guys laughed at me, so I just wanted to bring that up.
You said they would win the Scudetto. It's not over. We have 38 match days total, so
okay.
we'll see what
You're
happens.
You're going to have to know what's going to happen. It's going to happen what happened to Higuain a few years back. Yeah. Oh, last 2 games, a random suspension is going to come out of nowhere for Lukaku.
We'll see.
And the next thing you know, Juve wins.
Conte might go ball, too.
Okay, so moving forward back to Serie A, they just had Serie A match day 18.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know, EJ, we were talking about it before, but we were kind of shocked. The games were on Sunday and Monday this week instead of Saturday and Sunday, just because of the La Befana in Italy.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Monday games were still good. They were still good games. Juve hosted Cagliari, a team that's in 6th place right now. Milan, Sampdoria. Obviously, the big one was Napoli-Inter. But one game I wanted to talk about was the first game of the decade.
It's tossed long towards Balotelli, who can turn and fire and give Brescia the lead. The man who scored the first goal of the previous decade scores the first goal of the 2020s. It drops here for Felipe Caicedo. That's Immobile! And they've done it yet again. Once again in added time. Once again on the road. They found a winner.
So, you heard it there. Mario Balotelli, first goal of the 2020s, as we posted it on our Instagram at the Calcio Guys. And he also scored the first goal of the 2010s, but it was Lazio still the show. And there's just something about this Lazio team. They get it done in the 90th minute.
Well, they're in a great form, and they've been rising up the standings. And I think we could also attribute to their target man just putting it in the net. Immobile's got 19 goals so far this season in terms of the Serie A competition. This is a man that has a hot foot. You give him the ball, he puts it in the net. He's going to get you, and those 1 or 2 goals make a difference. If you're scoring at least 1 goal per game, imagine that. A team going up against you, they gotta think that, oh crap, Lazio's gonna have a guaranteed goal coming from Immobile. So you gotta have that mentality, like we have to score more than once. We have to score at least 2 to even get a result from this.
I mean, he nailed it head on. I mean, I think in this game, they went down, as you heard from the Balotelli clip there. He got the first goal of the decade. I think this game could have easily been a tie. I mean, they left it late. It was pretty fortunate for Lazio to get the winner. Yes, they've been on a hot streak. Yes, they've been consistently proving other teams that they're top dog and they can really compete. But I think in this game particularly, they went down early. Yes, they came back. Was it a bit fortunate? Well, I think a bit. But if Immobile doesn't get the penalty, if that penalty doesn't get called and Immobile doesn't score at the end.
Well, but Brescia did get that red cards. That's what they were a man down, and that's what caused everything to happen. But
it seems like there's always red cards. I against Lazio's opponents.
You know this city, huh?
Wow, you're going to suggest something?
Lazio's the new Juventus.
Oh, Juventus fan is suggesting this now. Interesting.
It happens twice against Juventus in the matter of, 2 weeks? They get a red card against Juve and have to win 3-1. No, I'm kidding. Lazio's a good team. Lazio's a good team. Actually, you know what? I really respect what they're doing this year.
And we're canceled.
At least we don't have CRTC regulations on top of us this time.
God.
Atalanta, 5 goals.
Space here for Alejandro Gomez. What a strike! Atalanta lead. He does it again. Gomez only needs half a yard.
Our first little mishap of the new podcast. I was expecting another clip to play, but we heard there.
No. There was no mistake.
Yeah, we're perfect. We're perfect. Gomez scored. Ilicic scored twice. Gosens scored, and then who scored the other one?
Freuler.
It was Roman Freuler. Yeah. 2 games in a row, 5-0 for Atalanta. I know we talk about it time and time again, but we haven't talked about Atalanta since they qualified for the Champions League round of 16. That happened after our last episode at CJLO. And Adrian, we watched that in Italy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Since that game, I just find they've been playing with so much more confidence. We always knew they had a good team. I don't think any of us saw them scoring 5 goals in 2 straight matches, albeit against Parma and Milan, 2 mid-table teams. With all due respect, Adriano,
it is what it is.
But when you're playing with this much confidence, it could really help them come February. And against the Atalanta team, with all due respect to them, they're no Real Madrid, they're no Bayern. This is a winnable draw for Atalanta
Against Valencia, yes, I agree.
I agree too. It just we've, as you said, it's time and time again we say with this Atalanta team. Are they 11 world class players on the pitch? I don't think so. They're 11. They're good. 11 good players that are buying into. But they're buying into Gasperini's system, and they have a good system in play in Bergamo with this Atalanta side that can compete. And once they get clicking and once they get hot, it's hard to stop them, especially offensively. They move the ball really well from the mid to attack, and you've seen it time and time again with this team.
Sidebar: what do you guys consider as world class? Personally, I consider a player as world class when he's actually a starter on his national team.
Well, okay.
That could be.
I can't think of anybody right now on those lower class. There's a player in Juve's prospect system who played for Cyprus national team. I forget his last name.
So you consider world class as if somebody who can compete against some of the best players in the world?
Yeah, world class for me is
have won something on not only their league stage, in the international stage as well in Europe. So
for me, world class.
I don't really want to consider like a player who can win something also to be considered world class. Like Koulibaly hasn't won anything yet for his national team or any in terms of all competition, but I consider him world class in his position.
For me, world class means a player who could.
I'm a mix of both of your definitions, but I'm just saying also.
Yeah, for me, world class means a player who could elevate his game to the level that the rest of his team, all 10 players, elevates their game to, and this single player is able to change the game on its own. If it's an attacker, he's going to score a goal. If it's a midfielder, he's going to create a goal. If it's a defender, he's going to stop a goal. If it's a goalkeeper, he's going to make a big save. And so I could consider some Atalanta players to be world class, like Ilicic, like Gomez, because those are 2 players that could change around a game, and they've done it now in the Champions League.
I think it's a big tag. I say world class. I don't think personally.
I'm just trying to create a
no. I don't think any of them. And it's no knock to any of these players. I don't think any of them are considered world class. You take them out of that system, can they do the same thing? We're not sure. We haven't seen it. I don't know. I mean, these players, Ilicic in particular, has bounced around teams. Gomez as well. They found a good system in Atalanta, and I think that has gone a long way for them. Gasperini has been, their backbone, and if they can prove that on a different stage, then I would be able to say maybe a world class tag.
Okay, Juve came with a bang on Monday.
Douglas Costa finds Ronaldo. Hat-trick. Cristiano Ronaldo hat-trick. 4-0 to Juventus.
As we saw, Ronaldo, first hat-trick in the Serie A. The last time he scored a hat-trick was against Diego Simeone. Next time he scores a hat-trick was against his son Giovanni Simeone. So he loves scoring against the Simeone family. And I don't want to get into this too much. I mean, Ronaldo scores 4 goals. What's 3 goals? Juve wins 4-0. Not much new to it. But I just want to say, I went onto Twitter at halftime on Monday while I was watching the game, and there was a shitload of negativity. Just everyone complaining about their midfield, everyone ripping Juve, Serie A, this and that. I think Juve fans are maybe a bit too spoiled, winning too much. Whenever there's a bit of adversity in the Serie A, they can't take it well. But I love the way they played, even in the first half. Cagliari's not a bad team. They're in 6th place for a reason. Yeah. Rolando Maran has done a great job, as we talked about. And their midfield is actually doing a good job. Rabiot had a fantastic game, in my opinion. Matuidi, he still needs to improve, I think. But, we saw in the second half, they just continued playing the way they did, pounced on a couple of Cagliari mistakes, and it goes to show that's lo stilo Juventus.
Yeah, just to pull some stats, Juve only had one shot that entire game that missed the target. They had 11 total shots, 10 on target. 4 of them went in. I mean, those are good numbers. They had 64 possession versus 36%. They dominated that game. So I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not a Juve fan, so I don't follow people on Juve Twitter. Could it be the influx of newer generation Juventus fans because of the coming of Ronaldo, or could it be because, like you suggested, where people are just spoiled because they've won so much and now they expect Juve to be constant winners? I think it's the lesser instead of the former. I think it's the former instead of the lesser, where it's just maybe it's an influx of newer fans. They're not used to. They think that Ronaldo with Juve is probably going to be like Ronaldo with Real Madrid, and they're going to see a Real Madrid quality team with Juventus, which is two different teams completely. I'm not saying they're worse or better, but I'm just saying they're two different teams completely.
It's not only two different teams; it's two different leagues. You're comparing the Serie A to the La Liga. I mean, everybody knows the Serie A is probably one of the harder leagues to get used to, especially as a forward defensively. The Italian league has always been pretty sound. La Liga, it's a bit more free flowing, and a lot more goals are scored, especially when Ronaldo was there and Messi as well. So I think. New team, obviously new league, and then it just brings so much different aspects to the game. And a team like Cagliari, we wouldn't even be talking about them, maybe a couple years ago. Now, this year they're doing well, and I don't know. I think for me, as you said, yes, it's a new team, but I think the league goes a long way too.
You know what's funny? Before we move on to the next clip, it's funny because at the beginning of the season, Lukaku had a fun interview with another fan podcast, and he said, how hard it is to score in the Italian league.
There you go.
And if you look at the top 3 scorers, 2 of which have come to the Italian league in the past 2 years. Well, last year or this year.
Yeah.
Lukaku's second place with 16 goals?
I believe so.
16, and then third is Ronaldo with 12 or 14, which it could be 14-12 or 16-14. I don't know.
It's actually 14-13.
It's actually 14-13. Okay, so
and then it's nice to see an Italian on top.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so moving on. Do you want to stick with that Napoli Inter game, or do you want to do Milan Sampdoria? You know what? Since we're just talking about Lukaku, Napoli Inter, I saw a lot of Napoli Inter, Napoli fans on Twitter saying they basically pounce on 3 mistakes. Do you agree with that?
I mean, there was one goal that was a mistake that that Inter managed to capitalize on. The first one, Di Lorenzo took the slip, if I wasn't mistaken, and it just happened to go on it. But it showed that the back end was completely confused without Koulibaly leading the way. Now, I know that I am a big diehard fanboy of Koulibaly, but you saw it also that nobody was making that first initial decision. Lukaku's first goal, his side was in front of him the whole time. And he didn't even pressure him. It was like as if I know you're not supposed to completely pounce on the striker when he's out right in front of you, but make him make the mistake. Force him to make a mistake. Don't give him all the time in the world to take a well played shot. And this is Lukaku we're talking about. He's not a terrible striker at all. He's a phenomenal one. So when it was a 1v1 versus Isai, it's no wonder that Lukaku's going to win that one. And then. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the second goal, how it happened. It was just like, what was it, between Meret legs, right?
The big mistake.
Yeah. That was Meret's fault.
That was Meret, just like, he had a stinker on that one. It happens. It sucks that it happens in the same game as his side not putting any pressure. And even though Napoli kind of got one back, you saw that the team didn't have that fight. They tried their best, but nothing was clicking on them for them offensively. 17 shots total, only 6 were on target.
Wow. You wanna do the Milan Napoli? Sorry. Milan, go from Napoli to Milan because first of all, Zlatan back. quick thoughts?
No, big signing. I mean, just for marketing wise, for the fan base to get out of this, slump. I think it brings fans, obviously to the stadium. It brings fans, back with some spirits and some good hope. But the years that he spent at Milan were great, and I think obviously a positive move on the branding, the marketing. They had a great campaign on social media. I found is back there, and he came on obviously in the game, but I mean, as a move, marketing wise, great. Can he bring this team to new heights? That's remain to be seen. But it's tough because we're betting on a 38-year-old striker that is not getting any younger. Let me just put it that way. So it's tough for that point. But as I said, marketing great.
And then in the game, 3 straight games without a goal. One of which we were there. Just embarrassing for Milan, right?
It's embarrassing. It's you don't want to see that. Obviously, as a fan, we as you said, we were at one of the games there, Milan Sassuolo, 120th anniversary for the club, and they come out with a stinker 0-0. And again with this game over the weekend against Samp, Zlatan back, he gets introduced to the game, 60,000 plus fans, and you lay another egg. So for me, it's totally unacceptable. They were ghosts in the first half, and maybe the second half they produced a bit more. But it's not only about Zlatan. I think the players around him have a big part of these performances over the past games and not scoring. And Zlatan can only bring so much. You have to be able to help him out and be able to create on your own as well.
I'm going to counterpoint here. I'm going
to
slightly add on to what you're saying, but also go against you a bit.
Yeah.
Mind you, the point that I'm saying that goes with you is that Zlatan's team now is not the same Zlatan's team from 7.5 years ago. It's not the same AC Milan team, so it's a much lesser team.
Big time.
But here's where I'm going to go against. He still elevated a team, and Milan did have their chances. I pulled it up. They took 14 shots on target. Odero had a 14 save performance. It's not as if they weren't pouring it on. It was just there was no quality offensive chances.
Counterpoint to the counterpoint. You can't. Sorry, but if you want to, they had 14 shots on target. Yes. If we count how many of them went straight to Odero, they weren't even challenging shots. Did he have to make any crazy saves?
No,
not crazy saves.
Maybe
if you're shooting right at him. I mean, Nicholas can make that save. I can make that save. You can make that save.
I probably can't.
No,
too slow.
You would be.
That Kanalogu shot was pretty good.
If you want to challenge hard, doesn't mean anything. If it's straight to the goalie, unless you're Meret, sorry for the jab.
It's okay.
Sorry for the jab. Unless you're Meret, it's going through you. But no, honestly.
That's Lukaku's shot. It's just so strong.
True, but I'm saying if you want to score, if you want to have chances, yes, 14 shots on target. But if they're all to the goalie and they're not testing them, it means nothing. You have to be able to test the goal. You have to have some, luck as well, to be honest with you. I mean, there has to be luck involved for maybe a rebound, but Milan hasn't had any luck and hasn't had any creativity in the final third. So it's tough to see.
How long did Zlatan sign for?
Well, 6-month contract, so it's until the end of the season, and then there's certain speculations in the contract that if things go well, I don't know if he starts enough games or scores enough goals, I think there's option for a continuation for another year. So we'll definitely have to wait and see. I mean, this is only game one. There's
I know, but I think there's an interesting project that's about to happen in AC Milan, and I think
that's
a team that's going to be interesting to look at in the next little while.
Yeah.
So before doing our weekly, Serie A MVPs of the week, yellow card, red card, as we've always done at CJLO, I wanted to bring in some questions from our followers on social media. These are mainly just Instagram. Our friend Joseph from Calcio Fan Blogs.
Joseph.
Do you think Brescia will get relegated? I haven't checked the standings yet, Joseph.
They're in 18th.
They're in 18th.
That's a really good question.
Joseph, they're in 18th, and I'm going to go first here. Before the season, I had pegged them to not get relegated before the season started. I thought they would just eke out of the relegation zone. Right now, they are in the relegation zone. I believe they are in 18th, right, Nick?
Yeah,
they're still in 18th.
They're still one point behind Lecce.
1 point behind Lecce.
8 points behind Milan.
Okay, however you want to slice and dice it. But for me personally, before the season, I thought that they weren't going to get relegated. I'm personally going to stick by that they're not going to get relegated this season. They've showed sparks sometimes, but they have been streaky. Don't get me wrong. I think they will probably change over with Lecce, maybe even Samp, but I don't see it. So for me personally, going forward, I think they survive.
Quickly, yes or no?
Yeah. I don't think so at all. I think they do have those like difference making players that prevent them from losing one or two games that are the difference.
I think they do, just because the mess that management is in, firing Carini, bringing Grosso, firing Grosso, bringing back Carini. This is just Palermo all over again.
Rinse, repeat.
And they haven't performed up to their expectations. And then another one from our friend Jan, more like I know you're good friends with him,
yes.
And then he's part of Milan Club Montreal.
Shout out, Jan,
with you, Adriano.
Yeah.
I like this question.
It's an amazing question.
This guy, yeah.
I heard it. It's good.
Amazing, man.
Did CR7 change his hairstyle because the real legend Zlatan made his return to Serie A? What's your theory? I think straight up yes. He's bringing it back to 2010 when the two were in La Liga together at the same time.
In 2010?
Yeah.
With
Because
Zlatan
Ronaldo went to Madrid in 09.
With Barca, no?
Yeah, and then Zlatan was there with Barca.
He went to Barca. He was at Barca right before Milan.
Because he was in. What was he? He was in. Who was it? Zlatan was with
Malmo. If you want to start
Malmo.
from the get.
He went from Malmo to Juve to
Ajax.
Ajax to
Juve to Inter.
Yeah.
Okay. He did Barca 9, 10, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So obviously Ronaldo was there.
Yeah.
So they competed against each other. Or sorry, just 9, 10 he was with Barca. 10, 11 he was on loan to Serie A. So I say yes, he's throwing back 2009, 2010. You saw that with his iPad.
His iPod
Shuffle.
Clip to the tie, might I add.
Oh, what a throwback. Cristiano Ronaldo.
I mean, the iPod Shuffle could stay. The haircut for me has to go. I mean, definitely copying Zlatan. Absolutely. He sees Zlatan coming into the league. He's like, oh man, not Zlatan again. But no, I think only Zlatan can pull that off. And for me, I like Ronaldo's hair, how it is, when he rocks it his way. But for me, the haircut definitely has to go.
I'm just saying, how blessed are we to see guys like Ronaldo and Ibrahimovic in Serie A right now?
Slowly, I think things will turn for Serie A.
And okay, so now yellow card, red card, MVP. What do you guys want to start with?
Start with the cards.
Start with the cards. So we're gonna do one card each. We'll start with our yellow cards first. So for me, yellow card has to go out. So I believe it was Fabian who kicked the ball into Inter's bench. I don't know if you watched the game. Gianni, did you watch the game?
No, I missed it.
Pretty sure it was Fabian. There was two balls on the pitch right in front of Inter's bench. Kind of misconfusion between the ball boy and just it happens.
Yeah.
It was a mistake. And Fabian just rocks it into the Inter bench, and it people got mad. Esposito got a yellow card as a bench player. Conte got a yellow card. I believe Fabian did too as well. But no, it's just unacceptable when there's a second ball in the pitch. Just slightly tap it out. You don't need to do that. And
because frustrations run high. We mentioned it before. There was a goalkeeper. Was it this season or last season where he got a red card? For just launching the ball.
Yeah. It was
for
Olsen. It was Olsen.
It was Olsen.
Yeah. So it was Fabian. So that's a yellow card for me.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
Gianni?
My yellow card is going to have to go to Parma's defense. Atalanta just shredded them apart, but it was in a way that they weren't even challenging Atalanta at all. Atalanta was just picking them apart, and they were not giving. Oh my God! Why am I drawing a blank on the goalkeeper for Parma?
Seppe.
It's Seppe?
Luigi Seppe.
Yeah, did they not give? Which, by the way, I think he's loaned from Napoli, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they. I don't know if they did, but they might have actually bought him.
And so that's a yellow card to Parma's defense.
It's a late challenge, surely maybe the first yellow of the match.
You, AJ?
Yeah, so for me this week, I'm gonna go for Roma. Roma's performance against Torino. A bit unlucky at the end there with the penalty on Smalling, but just missed opportunity again. They were running high on some good performances, and I think Torino. I don't think anybody pegged Torino to win that game, especially because I believe it was in Rome, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, totally unacceptable. You're at home. unfortunate, yes, but Belotti obviously came out to play. But I think they were on such a high, and this puts a bit of a damper on things. They were doing pretty well in the standings as well. But for me, just a small yellow card for them for their performance against Torino.
And okay, I have to play the clip. I forgot about that.
And he now sees a flash of yellow before his eyes.
Red cards now. I guess I'll start it off again. This one has to go to Leonardo Semplice, or more like the Spal ownership and management, simply because he still has his job, Leonardo Semplice. 12 points after 18 games for Spal. They just lost 2-0 to Verona at home. The teams above them, Genoa, fired their coach. Brescia, fired their coach twice. Lecce, Liverani still has his job, deservedly so. Sampdoria, fired their coach. Fiorentina, fired their coach. Why does this man still have a job? Spal has some good players. It's their third season in Serie A. It's not like they've just come up. They've had years to prepare themselves to fight for the top half of the table. Yet they're at the bottom. They're likely going to get relegated this year because they have absolutely no life in them. And yet their coach still has a job in a league that is so happy to fire their coaches. So, and some of those coach firings I don't agree with, but I really think Leonardo Semplice should be fired. So that's my red card of the week.
Gonna go to the pocket and get out the red. So red card.
Johnny?
Come back to me on my red card because I'm still debating between the choices.
Yeah, so for me, it's a no-brainer this week. Red card of the week, definitely for Milan. Laying an egg against Samp, as I said before. Totally unacceptable. Zlatan back. Laying an egg. Didn't start him. Came on in the 55th minute. Try to put all your eggs in one basket with him up front, and with absolutely no service. Suso can't cross the ball. I don't even remember the last time Milan was dangerous on a corner, on a free kick, on anything like that. So for me, coming to San Siro, 60,000 plus fans, as I said, laying an egg 0-0. Lucky that we didn't even lose that game. I think it's totally unacceptable. So definitely merits a red card for me this week.
This is going to be a red card, and is that going to change the course of the game?
Johnny, do you need to go to VAR?
I'm basically going to give my red to, once again, no surprise, De Laurentiis.
Happy New Year, Aurelio.
He's the kind of guy where Serie A B is looking more and more likely for Napoli right now as they keep on just dropping points.
Easy.
I mean,
Halma.
they have a solid squad, but it's to the point where I think nobody has that drive anymore. You can see it. Nobody's fighting for that ball, and nobody's fighting to get those points. Nobody's fighting to seek success. Maybe in Champions League we might see a different dog because it's a different title. But when it comes to Serie A, they just basically gave up. I think they're just cruising right now. They're not gonna reach. I know that Gattuso says hopefully Europa League is the goal, but I think they're gonna cruise control the whole way through. And this goes pinpointing to the guy who's a big baboon. I think it's the best way I can keep it clean as much as I can. A big buffoon.
Yeah.
Could be a red card. The red card is out. And it's no surprise. Absolutely is against the rules.
It's no surprise. It summed it up perfectly.
Yeah. So, moving forward. So, at this point of the show on CGLO, we usually do an interview. As we mentioned, we want to work out the...
No MVP now? We're going to do that after?
Oh my god, we forgot our MVP.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, let's do MVP quickly. Mine's Ronaldo. No question about it.
Hat-trick.
Yeah, hat-trick. He deserves it.
Yeah. Mine is going to go to Sirigu. A nice 11-save performance against Roma. Kept Torino in there when Roma was trying to score some goals to come back. 4 clean sheets already this season for him.
Adri?
I'm gonna go with Gallo Belotti. I think he came up big, like I said, in that game, and scored 2 big goals. And we're kind of slowly seeing the old Belotti, and I hope for good things for him because I still believe in him, and definitely MVP candidate for me this week.
115 goals in his career. That was from the 2 that he got against Roma. He's at 115 total in his career.
Yeah,
all competitions.
So definitely behind Il Gallo.
So that's our MVPs of the week. It's just a sound clip that came with our Spreaker subscription.
Oh, that's amazing. I like it.
Okay, so now we could talk about our trip to Italy, Adriano, and obviously for both of us, it was the first time going to see Serie A. For me, it was the second time in Italy. You the first time for our viewers. So we went to Roma, Genoa, Florence, Bologna, Torino, Milan, Isernia, and Napoli. We went all over the place. We saw Lazio, Juventus, Sampdoria, Parma, and Milan, Sampdoria.
Sassuolo.
Oh, Sassuolo, not Milan, Sampdoria. That was just the game that happened. That was a 120 years game for Milan. Straight off the bat, I mean, how was your experience? What was your favorite game and favorite stadium?
Yeah, so I mean, as Nicholas said, definitely we said it time and time again. Everybody who asked us, I mean, how was your experience? And the simple thing was, it definitely a dream come true for us going. It's not every day that you go on to one trip and catch 3 Serie A games in 3 different cities, seeing all kinds of different teams and players. So definitely dream come true. I think. As we mentioned, and we were talking about it just even off air, probably for me definitely the best experience had to go when we went to go catch Milan Sassuolo at San Siro. I mean, as I said, I don't think I'll ever walk into a stadium again and have that type of emotion. In a stadium that 60,000 plus fans celebrating the 120th anniversary. Unfortunate for the for the result of the game, but I think nevertheless, just the experience and just the atmosphere, paid dividends for that game. Best performance wise and kind of just atmosphere, I think was the Lazio Juve game at the Olimpico. Obviously the home team won over there, and just the atmosphere that we got to experience, with all the Lazio fans there, we sitting a lot close to some of them, maybe a bit closer than we might have expected or might have wanted.
Yeah, the guy's elbow was halfway over my body, the guy next to me. I was going to put my arm around him.
Yeah, I almost could have given him a kiss.
Going to the chapel on Sunday morning to get married.
That's it. So, I mean, no, but jokes aside, I think the atmosphere there was really great as well. Big game. Obviously, 2 top dogs in Serie A this year. Definitely for me, game-wise and atmosphere, I think that one took the cake. For me, best, obviously, the Milan game at San Siro, and the middle game that we got to catch it just as just 2 general fans, I think was a different experience as well. It was kind of a smaller.
It was calming.
Calming, yeah.
The day after that wild Lazio Juve game, it was just calming, but it was still a fun experience in Genoa.
It was
at Sampdoria in Genoa. Obviously.
Yeah,
beautiful city, by the way. Genoa, fantastic city.
Yeah, different experience over there. I think, as you said, smaller vibe and smaller stadium, and just everything's a lot more close, and the fans really get behind their team, win, lose, or draw, and we got to see that firsthand. Obviously, Sampdoria did lose that game 1-0 to Parma, but and we saw all kinds of fans, all kinds of vendors outside selling us stuff and taking
shout
pictures.
Out to, what was it?
Pepino
and Angelo.
Yeah. Two great guys that we got to speak to before the game, and they were ecstatic to see us from coming all the way from Canada to come and see Sampdoria play in Genoa. So for us, dream come true, and just got to, I think, experience 3 different environments and 3 different aspects in 3 different stadiums. So I can't I can't forget this trip, and I don't think I ever will, and it's definitely something I want to do again.
I think for me, you said favorite stadium, obviously San Siro. I love the Stadio Olimpico. I found it was great, and the sound in there, it just rocks. And I think there's a bit of a bias just because this was the only game we saw where the home team won and the home team scored with a goal officially counted, because we saw Sampdoria score, ruled out by VAR. We saw Milan score, ruled out by VAR.
Yeah.
So at least in both of those stadiums, we got to, I guess, celebrate a goal in some sort. At Sampdoria was a bit longer of a celebration because Quagliarella scored. We did the whole Fabio Quagliarella thing. Not so much in Milan, and went to VAR pretty quickly. But VAR took long at Sampdoria as well. 3 games, 3 VARs. Okay, I'm getting off track, but Stadio Olimpico. Oh my god, fantastic atmosphere.
Beautiful.
Even as Juventino, being in the middle of Lazio fans, whatever, I had to fake it a bit. I guess at the end of the day, I guess it was just cool to see. But I quickly realized, I need to go to the Juventus Stadium to get the real experience. But the whole track, at least where we were sitting, I know we were close, but we were sitting close, and it didn't exactly bother us. We were on the side. I could see how it's more bothersome behind the net. The whole track situation at the Stadio Olimpico.
Yeah, I thought it would be worse, to be honest.
Yeah, I really did. That's why I liked it. And we got a couple of questions on our social media as well. So from your friends at AC Milan Club Montreal, this is a two-part question.
Shout out.
I want to start off with the second part first.
Go for it.
Since we're talking about stadiums. So did you feel safe in the stadiums? If yes, are the stories about fans wanting to stay home for safety reasons exaggerated? I'll take this one. I think there's a huge problem for safety. Based on the 3 games that we went to go see. It's just fans there are nuts. And it doesn't seem like the type of atmosphere. Like, at least the big games, it doesn't seem like the type of atmosphere where you're going to want to bring your kid. There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of angry fans. It's just very vulgar, and I know they call that passion. I understand, but growing up in North America, going to North American sporting events, you go and you enjoy the game. Meanwhile, in Italy, you go to let off your steam. It's a different mentality, and I've talked to other people since, and my mom told me there's someone she works with from Rome. She's a Romanista, and when she was young, her grandfather would take her and her family, or I don't know if she has any siblings, but would take her family to games at the Stadio Olimpico against the small teams, not the big games, because that's when it gets a bit dangerous. And at the end of the day, the security was really high, so you knew. You could feel safe somewhat, except for in Sampdoria, where the security was watching the game. One guy was on his phone, but it's just, and the stadiums are so crowded. They're so tight in there. It's just, I don't know. Coming from North America, it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think also. Yeah, I mean, we were lucky that we didn't, get involved or or didn't really see, or at least I didn't see any kind of violent, action at the games. Obviously, at the first game that we went to,
Juve merda.
Yeah,
the whole game.
Those things. I mean, for me, they're on a smaller scale. If there's fighting, if there's weapons involved, that's where for me the safety becomes a bit more at risk, and your safety those are serious things. But chanting, I mean, for kids, yeah, okay, you do hear bad things, but I think they're so accustomed to it. As you said, the mentality there is just so let off my steam, and I'm so about my team, and you're going there and you just want to like almost kill the other team. But
that's the problem.
That is the problem, and I think the mentality is different. Obviously, coming from North America, we don't really experience that to that degree. Obviously, as I said, in the Lazio Juve game, I was fortunate for my relative to come down with his kid, and at first he kept on messaging me. He's like, I don't know if I want to bring my kid, but he's a big Juve fan. He loves Ronaldo too, and just to see Juventus play would be a dream. So he did end up coming. He's about 10, 11 years old, and at points it's like, should he be there or shouldn't he be there? And it's a tough question to answer, because there's some points in me, or some feelings that is like, no, he should stay home, but at the same time, you want to experience these things as well. So for me, I think I'm kind of on the fence about it. But yeah, no, great question by Marcello and the account there.
So first part of the question, so moving away from Calcio, what was your favorite meal during the trip? Adri, you take it away, because I have to think about it. Okay. Between us, are we doing restaurants or just total?
What's the question? Meal?
Yeah, what was your favorite meal during the trip?
To me, that says one specific meal.
Yeah, but are we going to do restaurants, or are we going to include the family that we went to go see? Well, we went to see my side and your side.
Well, family aside, I think that goes second to none. I mean, absolutely amazing hospitality on both sides. Can't thank them enough. The hospitality that we got on both sides, I think, for me and for Nicholas, I think we're top notch, and can't say enough great things. So I would say, besides that, experiencing on our own at the beginning of the trip, what would you say?
On our own, I'd have to go with. My God, it's tough. I'll go with the pizza we had in Florence at Mr. Pizza. It's across from the Duomo. That was pretty solid pizza. But with family, my mom's cousin Calogero in Torino, his son Davide, my second cousin, we had him on our show once. Calogero's wife Sabina made orecchietti with mozzarella at the bottom of the pasta. Fantastic. For me, it was a favorite meal. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I have many. We ate like kings. I think almost every city we were in. But for me, the first meal, having the carbonara straight in Rome, I think for me was like first taste of, yeah, you know what, we're here, we're in Rome, we're eating Roman food, and it was honestly to die for. Along with the pizza that we had the second day at Bonci, for me, another great place. And then at the back of the trip. When we were in Naples, the margherita pizza was, second to none. You go to Naples, you think of margherita pizza, and we had it there at one of Sorbillo's places. So, just great food all around, I think. But besides the family, those two places and those two cities definitely stood out for me.
And okay, so moving back to Canada now with another question on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Gianni, you can answer this so quickly because I want to talk about Serie A match day 19.
Yeah.
This one from Viola Club San Francisco. That's cool that there's a Fiorentina club in San Francisco. My cousin Frankie moved to San Fran. He keeps telling me to go visit him. So when I do, maybe I'll have to make a visit to Viola Club San Francisco. The best place to watch Calcio in Montreal.
Oof.
I'm biased here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Ciociaro with Milan Club Montreal. You're Milanista in Montreal, you have to go there. The guys are great, and they've hosted us many, many times.
Honestly, it depends on if you're just a standalone fan, or if you're somebody who is a fan of a team that has a support group. If you're a fan of a team that has a support group, obviously, what Adri said, if you're an AC fan, you have to go to Ciociaro's. Napoli, they travel around. Roma Club Montreal also somewhat moves around a bit too. Unfortunately, I can't speak for Juve fans because I don't follow.
I think they travel a bit too, no?
Yeah, well, the clubs are so like up and down. I know there's a couple guys who are trying to get one going. It's all about politics. There is an official club, but apparently it's hard to get in. This and that. I watch it at home. Living in the West Island, and we're far from everything. Anyways.
We're so blessed with a lot of cafes here in Montreal. I was about to say Italy. About many Italian cafes here in Montreal that you can go in on a Saturday or Sunday. There's a great chance, like a 99% chance that they're showing a Serie A game, and if they're not, you can easily request it and they'll put it on, no problem, because it's topical with the theme of the cafe. And
shout out to Basilico here in the West Island.
Basilico,
because they did that for us. They did that for us. They're small, up and coming. Just got the liquor license when we were in Italy. They just got the liquor license, so we got to go there soon. But Fabio, Mike, Josh, all the guys there, great guys.
Like even Napoli, the Napoli fan club sometimes goes to Elio's Pizzeria, and it's a pizzeria, but sometimes they have awesome food, and when the Napoli club is there, you get to watch a game and eat awesome pizza at the same time. But there's Ciociaro's got phenomenal coffee and stuff. Even Milano's has got a great choice too. This chair just squeaked.
Yeah, but they don't have as many TVs there.
No, they don't have as much. You can even go to shout out. I'm gonna plug in my cousin's cafe. I'm just gonna plug in Ferlucci. They have one TV though, but they have amazing coffee. Amazing desserts, and obviously if you ask them, they will put on the game for you, because I've done that a couple of times, fortunately without sound, because it's more of like one of those like hipster type of places. But it is an Italian cafe, and they will put on the Italian soccer game if it is showing on TV. So we name dropped a lot of places. Hopefully you listened to us when we were saying that. There's plenty more.
Cafe Italia.
Olimpico.
Anywhere in Little Italy.
San Simeone. I think San Simeone shows games. I haven't been to it for a game, but I think they do show games.
Pizzeria Napolitana even has TVs. I don't know if they show games.
During the World Cup, they do.
Okay.
I don't know if they do. I've never been to Pizzeria Napolitana for a Serie A game, but I know for the World Cup they do, because I've been a couple of times.
Okay, that was Restaurant Talk with Gianni, Nicholas, and Adreano.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on now. Serie A match day 19. So I absolutely love the fixtures in this match day. And just imagine, this is going to be match day 38. The final match day of the season is going to be the reverse of these fixtures. So Lazio Napoli, Inter Atalanta, and Roma Juve. 3 huge matches. If the title race comes down to the final match day, oh my God, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be delicious. especially just between Roma, Juve, and then Inter Atalanta. And then another game, obviously Cagliari Milan. We talk about it obviously because Adriano, Fiorentina, Spal. Spal. If they want to save themselves, this is a must-win game. And 3-0 Bologna could be a decent game too. Sampdoria, Brescia, another bottom table game. Since we have a bit more time now, I want to talk. You want to bring back the predictions. You want to bring back the predictions now?
I have predictions written down just in case.
Yeah. Let's bring back the predictions, and that's what we'll do, because sometimes at CJLO we're on a time limit. At the end, we had to let it go to the next show, and we didn't have time to get through every game. So we got 10 games here. Cagliari Milan. Give me your score, and then quickly the reason why. So Cagliari Milan for me, I think it's gonna finish 2-1 Cagliari, but this is a game Milan, if they wanna fight for the European spot, as they've been talking about, this is a must-win game, straight up, because this is the 6th place team they're playing. So I still don't think they're going to win it though.
Really?
I mean, these are this part of the season now. It's gonna be tough for Milan. I think these games are all important. There's no easy game in Serie A. I don't think when you start the season, when you're at the midpoint of the season, there's no easy games. For Milan, as you said, definitely a must win. You don't think? I think. I want to say maybe it's more the fan coming out in me that just wants them to win and wants them to get over this hump. I will say they do win. I'm going to say 1-0. I know they are in Cagliari, I believe, at the Sardinia Arena, so it's going to be a tough game. But Cagliari, been up and down, so I think they can do it. If things do change, will Ibra start? Will Ibra come off the bench again? Will Suso Çalhanoğlu be in the lineup? Will there be a lineup change up? We don't know as fans, but I think if Pioli can get things going, and now this is game 2 for Ibra, another week of training for Ibra with the team. I think they can gel a bit better, and I think they get a result.
Score?
1-0. I said it. Listen up.
I say it's 2-0 Milan.
Okay. Lazio Napoli, that's Saturday at 12. The way both teams are trending, I think this is going to be an easy win for Lazio, 3-0.
I'm saying a 2-1 win for Lazio. I think Napoli is still going to have a chance to score some goals because they do have some offensive prowess. But if they still have a couple of players that are still out and some crucial players that are still out come that game time, there's no way they have a chance to win. Especially that back end without KK. He's too much of a key piece. He's a leader. He's their glue. Without him, they seem completely dismantled. And it shows that he made his, even though they did upgrade on the right back situation, they made his left back. They made the left back and some of his center backs look better than they actually were. So I think Immobile is going to get probably maybe a brace, but he's getting at least one more against Napoli, and I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Lazio.
I agree with all you guys with the win for Lazio, just the way they've been playing. Inzaghi, been really coaching well over there. But I'm gonna go with a 3-2 victory for Lazio. I think, like you said, Koulibaly not there, Di Lorenzo playing center back, not his natural position. It's kind of hard to get stability in the back line there. So Immobile has been on fire, and I think they win 3-2.
For me, this is a game of the week. Inter Milan versus Atalanta, 2 top teams. Obviously, Atalanta could do Juventus some favors. It's going to be really tight, and I think it's going to finish 2-2.
2-2, that's at the San Siro, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That's
what I predicted, actually.
Okay, so 2-2.
So I'm not going to add more to that.
2-2 as well. I'm gonna go with another 3-2, but I think Inter will win at home. If everything goes to plan for Conte and he gets everything on point, I think this team can come out with a win. As much as it pains me to say, the snakes over there at Inter, but with Conte they've been playing well. No knock to Gasperini, nothing, but I think that it's gonna be a tough test, game of the week like you said. But I think Inter comes away with a 3-2 win.
Okay, so now moving towards some of the, I guess, less exciting teams of the week. So just give me your scores now. Udinese, Napoli, Sassuolo, rather.
1-1.
Gianni says 1-1. AJ?
I'm going to say 1-0 Sassuolo.
I say 1-0 Udinese. Sampdoria hosts Brescia. Let's go with 2-0 Sampdoria.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in that game. Maybe Balotelli gets back on the score sheet.
I say 1-0 Brescia.
Fiorentina hosts Spal. 2-0 Fiorentina.
2-1 Fiorentina.
I'm going to stick with 2-1 Fiorentina as well.
Torino hosts Bologna. Sunday at 9 a.m.
2-0 Torino.
You, Nick?
I'm going to go with 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-2 in that game.
And then Verona hosts Genoa.
I'm going to go with a win for Genoa, actually. I'm going to say 1-0.
2-0 Genoa.
2-0 Verona for me. And then we'll skip to the Monday game. So Parma hosts Lecce. I'm going to say it's going to be a boring 0-0 game on Monday.
1-0 Parma.
I hope not. It's going to be a boring game because I think Parma's a good team. I'm going to say 2-0 Parma.
And lastly, let's do Roma Juventus. I mean, obviously Juve is the favorites in this one. They're going back to the scene of the crime where they lost against Lazio. At the
2 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, one of the game was in Abu Dhabi. Or what?
2 times in 2 weeks they lost against Lazio.
Yeah. Well, only one of the games was at the Stadio Olimpico. They're going back there. But I don't know. I think Juve could still go on cruise control and win this game, even with a 2-0 scoreline. I think. I don't know. How about you, Gianni?
I think Juventus is too talented to not get the W out of this game. Roma is on an upward trend, and it's great to see that, but they can't. I don't think they can match up to Juventus's quality on the field versus theirs, especially with how the Smaldini effect has been coming back down to reality.
Yeah, free cannonball.
Yeah, I just think it's probably going to be a 2-1 victory for Juve.
I'm going to agree with the scoreline. I think, as you said, obviously, the Olimpico, not a great place for Juve this season. But, as you said, they were playing Lazio. Joking aside, they lost twice to Lazio in 2 weeks. But Lazio and Roma, I think, when you speak about these two teams, they're on different levels a bit this year, or at least so far. So I'm going to stick with the 2-1 scoreline for Juve. I think, as you said, talent-wise, on the field and on the bench, I think it's going to pay dividends.
Warning: don't use these predictions for your Miso picks.
No, don't bet your house on it. Don't. We're not experts here. We're just giving our opinion.
I was thinking about doing a Miso for the games this weekend, but then I'm glad I didn't because I would have predicted Roma to win. I thought Bologna and Fiorentina were going to tie, so they did, but I didn't put any.
Shout out to Orsolini's goal. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Beautiful.
Yes. Phenomenal. And Benassi's goal. 2 great goals.
Yeah, but I think Benassi probably had goal of the week.
Jesus.
But yeah. This is just for fun. Don't put money on it.
No, definitely not.
But that'll do it for us this week. Next week, we're going to try to get a few guests in. We'll just have to get some confirmation. But next week could be a fun episode. So tune in for that.
A lot of debating.
Let's just put it out there. I know Johnny's going to like this one.
Yes, I'm down. If I'm understanding you, then I can't wait for this episode.
Putting it down. So yeah, definitely follow us at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Like I said before, catch this podcast on all your favorite podcasting websites. Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Google Podcasts, just to name a few. Definitely follow us there and continue us on this journey with our Calcio fandom.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adreano and Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jahzzar.